Thinking of a vacation? Okay, I'm going to advise you on a place that's affordable, friendly, and where a lot of security agencies' eyes will be on you. Let's take you on a vacation to Syria.
When I say the word Syria, what comes to mind? But what if I told you that Syria is also this?
Syria!
Welcome to Syria.
This was the intro of Drew Binsky. It's the first of a series of videos we'll be doing about vloggers who traveled to Syria and who promoted the narrative that Syria is safe and it's a nice place to live.
Syria!
Welcome to Syria.
It actually amazed me how the two ladies welcoming people in Syria had Bashar al-Assad's photo right behind them in the background.
Since 2011, more than 500,000 innocent lives have been taken.
By whom, we don't know, clearly, mostly by the Syrian government, but apparently it's not the job of a vlogger to tell you the truth about the country he's promoting as a safe country.
I'm on top of the mountain overlooking Damascus, Syria. It's just amazing!
It is amazing from the mountain on top of Damascus, especially when you see UNHCR refugee tent actually covering areas of Damascus.
Oh my God. Look at this view, guys.
Yeah, look at the UNHCR tent, guys.
Stunning. So I'm in the middle of the street here and I found a fruit stand and this little kid with the hat on is making it for me. Thank you. Wow.
So in a couple of years, this little kid is not going to be there because he's going to be drafted to military service. And possibly when Drew goes there, this kid will be running out of the country, living as a refugee in Lebanon or Turkey or Jordan, just to avoid being conscripted to the military service and the Syrian government army. Nevertheless, let's watch.
The owner of this shop, after I got the pomegranate juice, he just gave me these free beans. Thank you so much. What do you call these? Fool.
Fool is actually the name of the food, but it fits perfectly for this guy.
For some background info, Aleppo used to be Syria's biggest city and economy before the war, with 2.3 million people. But since the Arab Spring happened in 2011, it's become the centerpiece of destruction, where the vast majority of the city is now in rubles. The civilians who stayed around were living with minimal food, water, fuel, and electricity, as grocery stores, hospitals, and schools were bombed.
Grocery stores, hospitals, and schools all basically were targeted, and that's part of what we documented around Aleppo and other areas. If you go to our website, there are a lot of reports about targeting civilian infrastructure by the Syrian government air forces and the Russian air forces at the time.
You can see shop owners sweeping away the debris and crafting the walls back to how they used to look. Many streets are busy as can be, and schools are back in session. It's been a very eye-opening day here in Aleppo, full of emotions. But if there's one takeaway I have from today, it's that the future is now, and the people will come together and have hope.
Everybody has hope. It's great to see the kids going back to school and hear about reconstruction efforts. However, schools are actually in session only in the Syrian government-controlled Syria, because the Syrian government destroyed schools and the rest of the country in the areas they do not control. And same to the images, right? Like our reconstruction efforts have just started at full swing. Now we're a couple of years after this video, and reconstruction efforts have not actually started. There's nothing reconstructed of Aleppo. And if you use a Google Earth and zoom in Aleppo, you'll see ruins of Aleppo. And that tells you this guy does not know. I was like, yeah, there's a guy who's like putting a nail in the wall. It's like, yeah, reconstruction effort in a whole destroyed building. I don't know what he was doing, but I don't say the whole thing was staged, but I think this is when you're naive and you use your camera to spread the narrative of a bloody dictatorship. This is what you're going to end up with.
I met with several volunteers who allowed me to join in as they rebuild homes and bring gifts to the elderly.
The volunteers are actually building homes and bringing gifts to the elderly belong to a France-based NGO or a charity, SOS, Charity d'Orient, which is accused or suspicious of contributing or aiding and abetting war crimes. There's an investigation against them in France. They funded and supported a lot of the local NGOs in Syria who worked with Asma al-Assad, the first lady, and the Syrian government gang and inner circle in Syria. There's a lot of information about them. There's a whole investigation about them. And our friend Binsky, by coincidence, just went to the volunteer NGO who's actually maybe on a trial for war crimes related charges at any point soon in the future.
The SOS volunteers are here getting their hands and feet dirty, carrying sand inside to fix his home.
I volunteered a lot in my life, but never volunteered in an organization that's allegedly aided and abetted war crimes and crimes against humanity. And if I did, I wouldn't be so proud to put it in a video, in a promotional video, to see how Syria is a safe country.
We have just driven for about an hour to the outskirts of the city, and I'm with my friend Gaida, who you might remember I was with her in Damascus last week. So Gaida, where are we right now?
We're in a suburb called Stade, and we're gonna meet a friend.
Awesome, and where is the friend's house?
I think it's over there.
Up here? Okay, here we go.
So the friend house is actually the house of the tour guys who work for the touring agency or tourism agency who's taking him on the tour. He's aware of this, but he fails to disclose that. And Gaida is the lady who went with him to the restaurants in the very well-staged and well-prepared tour to show him only the things she wants him to see, and the Syrian government allow tourists or videographers to see in the country.
Nice to meet you. Hi. How are you? This family is so sweet and made me feel right at home. We chatted for a while and they told me they're going to make kibbeh, one of the best Syrian dishes that I've yet to try.
Kibbeh is actually one of the best Syrian dishes, indeed. But the guy he visited and his family, with Gaida, appears in all these videos. They work in the tourism agency, and it's just not an innocent Syrian home where they just happen to host people to show them how delicious kibbeh is and how great is the Syrian food.
In the past, I've been called out for being sponsored by the Syrian government, but it's absolutely not true. My trip to Syria was self-prepared and self-funded, and in fact, I've been trying to go back, but I've been informed that I'm blacklisted and cannot get the visa. As you can imagine, I'm really upset and hurt by this because all I've been trying to do is share the beauty that exists in Syria through my videos.
What you are sharing actually is the beauty of the Syrian people and how delicious is the food and how great is the Syrian government and how bad the terrorists were, terrorists in quotes, because that's what the Syrian government narrative about what happened in the conflict after the Syrian government killed more than 500,000 Syrians and displaced half of the nation. Yes, you might not be sponsored by the Syrian government. They're stingy, they're bad, they're cheap, they're not going to pay you money. But they're going to allow you in and they're going to use you. And it's enough to be stupid to be used. You don't have to be sponsored and get money. Let alone your videos are being watched by millions of people and you're making a lot of revenue of that. But as a Syrian, I did not appreciate your visit to my country. Not because I don't want to hear the food is amazing and people are friendly, because you're telling the world about Syria different than the Syria we, the Syrians, knew and lived in.
I unexpectedly received 16 things for free without asking for any of them.
What the f***, bro? You received 16 things for free from a country in the middle of war or a bad economy. You should have paid those people. It's a very, in quote, affordable things. People are giving you gifts, of course, because they're friendly and nice, but I don't know how I feel about that. I wouldn't take gifts from people in a war zone.
Yeah, Habibi, what's your name?
Yeah, Habibi, notice Bashar al-Assad's picture in the background of the place, which sounds to be kind of a government office or a building. I cannot tell fully, but the flags and Bashar al-Assad's picture, either you're in a government building or you, unintentionally, not sponsored by the Syrian government, is promoting the crap the Syrian government keep promoting on their media and social media. Okay, Syria is a nice country. People are really friendly and food is really amazing. We have no doubt about all these. And we're not saying do not visit Syria. We're just saying be careful you're sharing and producing and promoting the propaganda of the Syrian government that Syria is safe. This narrative is impacting the safety and the protection for Syrian refugees in Europe and elsewhere. Join us in the next video to see one of the vloggers who got tortured in Syria.